Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the long-awaited return of Foundation on Apple TV. I am your host, Mario Busto, alongside
the other host, Zachary Newton. Welcome back.
I'm back from vacation, Zach, and that's why this episode's a little bit late. I just finished watching episode 1 of season 3, titled A Song for the End of Everything. And I am very excited, as I'm sure a lot of our audience members are out there as well, because I know this is one of our more popular series.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. And hey, you got to take a break every now and then. So glad you had some vacation, but I'm happy you're back so we can cover this show. We got episode 2 coming out this week on Friday, so I'm looking forward to that. But I think this was all in all a much better start to the season than I was anticipating. I don't know about you.
This was about right for me, in my opinion. I want to preface before we start. I had a sneeze attack before this episode, so I don't know what triggered it, but I am like, that's why my voice sounds the way it does right now. I'm like trying to battle to not sneeze in this episode, so bear with me as we continue onward. I thought episode 1 was a hell of a start, to be honest with you. It's trying an ambitious task here, or an ambitious type of situation where you have to essentially establish and make people attached to a storyline that spans centuries, you know? And so we've heard that the Foundation was an inspiration to Star Wars and to Dune, and came before those series. And honestly, my first reaction to season 3, and not because we've covered previous seasons of this show, was that I was excited that for once in turning on Foundation, I honestly feel like diving more into this world. Part of me wanted to like have some sort of Mass Effect video game where I could be a part of the universe or the galaxy of where the Foundation exists.
Yeah.
So really interesting premise. I have immediate reactions. I have immediate predictions of where I think that this series is going to go. And I really believe that season 3 is critical for the success of this show. I think season 3 has to be a home run compared to seasons 1 and 2. I think they have to deliver in a way that seasons 1 and 2 haven't yet to give this show a little bit more mass appeal. I was watching a season 1, season 2 recap to prep for the podcast a little bit. And one of my reactions was that the video was about a week old and there was just 76,000 watchers on it, which is a good segment, but it's not 700,000 or it's not 300,000 people. It's kind of a smallish number for a show that, you know, in some of these sequences, you're like, damn it, how much money have they poured into this show?
Yeah.
I really do wonder that. I don't know if Apple discloses their viewership numbers, but I would be really interested to know what they are.
I'd be interested to know as well. Yeah, no, it's a good point though. I think like a lot of season 1 was just a ton of world building. Season 2 was good, but yeah, we really need to be along for the journey on this one. They really need to do a good job. You know, I will say when I first watched this episode, I said it to myself, and then I think you and I were talking on the phone, and I mentioned it to you as well. Like, I'm so happy that I have a show right now that I can watch where I feel like I can watch it and be transported into a universe that's just not my own.
Yes.
I feel like not that like the shows we've been watching have been bad or anything like that, but the world building in them is just not even on this level. Like, this is much more entertaining just from that perspective alone. So I'm super hyped about that.
Yeah, what's nice about Foundation, I have to agree, it is nice to be a little bit confused when you're watching something, you know, to have to be like you're catching up, like you're also sort of deciphering the mystery as it goes, and it's not so obvious of where things are going, or you don't feel like you have a leg up over the characters. In some ways, Foundation kind of holds that over you, where you don't know where the hell this thing is going. You don't know where the psychohistory is going to take things. I have my theories. I don't know how early we can get into some wagers here, but I would love to do some, because I have a major one about the Mule and where I think the season goes.
Interesting.
So to speak.
Well, let's see how this episode naturally unfolds. Episode 1 might be a little premature, but I think we could definitely bet on some things by episode 2, just knowing how these shows tend to go.
Well, I'll put it out there anyways. My big sort of hot take after watching episode 1, and this is coming from somebody who hasn't read the Asimov books, so doesn't know a ton about the Mule. We're just TV viewers, so I don't know exactly where this character goes necessarily. But my immediate impression for season 3, and where I think it needs to go, is I think the Mule is a sort of, to give it a more modern comparison, a Thanos figure for this show. I think that he's put the Foundation and Empire in a unique position they haven't been in before, which kind of goes back to season 1 when Harry's being prosecuted and he's presenting his case to the Cleons, which is that he's predicting a 30,000-year era of darkness, which he believes he can shorten to 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Right? And then that kicks off everything where they send him to Terminus and everything goes from there. But for the first time, we're seeing Empire and Foundation are somewhat on the same side for real, because now Demerzel, who was gifted the Prime Radiant by Harry Seldon in season 2 by AI Seldon, because remember, there's 2 Seldons. There's one that's flesh and blood, and there's one that's AI version of him. The flesh and blood version, I believe, and I'm willing to be corrected or open to being corrected, is the one who is responsible for launching the second Foundation, which is why in Gale's visions, she's being pretty much, not tortured, but interrogated by the Mule to find out where the second Foundation is.
Yeah.
Which we know was founded by a group of Mentalics from that planet with the crazy cult leader woman, and where Gale and Harry went to cryosleep, or whatever that pod was. And so now we're seeing this situation where now the Empire and the Foundation seemingly have to work together, because Demerzel's whole programming is about preserving Empire, preserving the Cleonic dynasty, right?
Yeah.
So now they have to work together in order to stop this Mule character. And so my sort of thought process, my immediate hot take after episode 1 is that we're going to get to the end of episode 3 and the Mule's won. And we're going to kick off the era of darkness. Now, whether it's the 1,000 years or 30,000 years, we'll find out. I think it'll be probably the 1,000 or maybe less.
That's an interesting.
But that is one of my thoughts. I don't think that the Mule's resolved in one season.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be an interesting thing to see happen this early. It's funny that you bring up that the Foundation and the Empires, they kind of have to work together in this, because one of the things that came to my mind when I was watching this is I feel like the line between good and bad is even more vague in this now, where like they both have their own evils. The Empire, the Foundation. It does kind of feel like they're uniting against something that's even more evil or powerful than them in some way. So I don't know who the good guys are right now. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I mean, like, I'm rooting for Gale and Harry Seldon, just because I feel like I have to. Like, I feel like I've just grown up with those characters so far over the last couple of seasons. So I'm definitely on their side. But Foundation, the first
Speak
Foundation,
for yourself, pal.
So far, the first Foundation and Empire seems to be evil. We haven't even seen the second Foundation in this yet. I think we're going to see that in the next episode.
I want to say that for me personally, after watching episode 1, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like when the evil guy gets, like, the evil dominant character, like, gets kicked off, but now they're like being persecuted on the other side, and then you start to root for them. It's kind of where I am with Empire right now, where I find myself more rooting for Empire than I am for the Foundation in some ways. It's weird because you see the first Foundation and that mayor character is unlikable.
Very, yeah.
And the Cleons have never been more likable. So Day is he's on this Day is on the steady descent that he's been on for 3 straight seasons, which is like more and more towards Rockstar. And now he's like poet king, poet philosopher king.
Yeah.
And I think ironically speaking, I think that because he's so reluctant to rule, I think he's going to be the best ruler that we've seen. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I just don't think that Don's going to be able to rule. I think it'll be Day who has to step up and rule, which I think will be the most interesting storyline to have here. And by the way, the whole theory here is that their genetic line got
contaminated. Yeah.
And so what does that mean? That means that I guess they're becoming more human in some sense. So they're becoming more like a human king, which is funny because it makes them more like when he's talking to Song, who's the consort that he's falling in love with, which I do love that storyline. He's kind of like the drug addict king who's bringing back, extinct animals to life.
Yeah.
And, devising poems, which I'm assuming was the song or the poem that he's reciting in the garden is the title of the episode, the song for the end of everything, I believe. And what was I going to say? She's talking to him, and she's pretty much essentially telling him that you're just like everybody else. You hate your job. You feel like you're not understood. You think you're the center of the universe. And he's like, oh, you do understand me.
Yeah.
So I feel like he is probably the most equipped to rule. And by the way, he's not dumb. He's very in tune. He knows things very well. He knows level 88 of Trantor. I mean, he's kind of in tune with everything. He just doesn't want to rule, which I think an attractive quality for somebody that you would want to rule.
Yeah. No, it's 100% agree with you. I think it's interesting that you mentioned he's becoming more human, because that was the word I had in my mind. He's definitely becoming more relatable. I think as we've seen I guess let's call it the downfall of the Empire, the dawn, dusk, day, they have definitely become more relatable in a lot of ways. And I think that human element to it is why like their storyline I think is becoming more interesting. I was also thinking like, man, if we had, let's just hypothetically say this is going to be like a 6-season show, right? I'm not predicting that. Let's just use that for a moment. If we had the same dawn, dusk, and day in every single season, the same personality, that would get so freaking old so fast. I think it would have been 100%. Old by season 2. So I'm very excited that we have a bunch of different personalities that are coming through in those brothers. And the actors, they do a great job of like showing off the nuance between, Day from season 2 and Day from season 3 as an example.
Yeah, and not to deviate too much, because I want to drive home a point about the progression of these characters and how they're becoming more human, right? Because one of the things that we see in seasons 1 and 2 is they're struggling with the emotions that they're having that they can't quite understand. It's because that contamination in the line, right? They don't understand why they want to, run away, or why they want to do certain things, For example, Dusk last season just wanted to live his life with his old lover,
Yeah.
And that kind of drives home like a point for me, which, by the way, I will also, echo what you said. Lee Pace, Terrence Mann, Cassian Bilton, they kill it as the roles of the Cleons, and I think it shows more and more season to season when each one of them are taking on different variations of that character. But to drive home a point that I was thinking about, Demerzel's whole conundrum is, what is going to happen to her? Who does she become if the Empire ends, right?
When. Not even if, it's when. Like she makes, there's the comment of like, it's one thing knowing, it's another thing to hold it in the palm of your hands. But keep going with your thought.
So she's struggling with that. But she also kind of wants to break free and be her own thing. She believes in this rebirth, but she feels like she's not going to have it. So she also wants to break free of her programming in some way.
Yeah. I mean...
and she's programmed to need to preserve the Cleonic dynasty. So, and she loves the Cleons. And what do the Cleons want most if you see them? They want to preserve the dynasty, but they also want to be themselves. They don't want to be these sort of clones, these freaking things that have no sort of spirit to them, right?
Yeah.
So if they do finally break free from that somehow, would that not be the most loving thing that Demerzel could do, which is like, this is the end of Empire, but it is the thing that they want the most. This is the thing that is best for them. So then it ends both of them at the same time.
Yeah, but I feel like it kind of goes back to the whole, like, it's not about the one person. Well, I guess the individuals of Dawn, Day, and Dusk at this point. She's programmed to serve the original Cleon, right? Like, it basically like serve his mission. So even if she wanted to, I guess, like set them free, like she's bound to like the prompt that was originally given to her by the first. Like I just don't think that she has the ability to make any changes or to set them free. I think her freedom comes from the destruction of Empire, like the absolute destruction of Empire.
Maybe, maybe. I think that's a solid point. I do think something has to change here, though, because do you envision Dawn ruling?
Yes, I do actually. I mean, we've had two seasons so far of Day ruling. I think this would be an interesting switch up. And I mean, like his what would you call it, inauguration or whatever, is in 10 days.
And
So
do you think it actually ends up happening?
yeah, I'd probably bet that would happen. I would bet we're gonna see a ruling. Well, okay, so let me be more clear about this. I bet that we will see a ruling Cassian Bilton character, not a ruling Lee
For a
Pace
little bit.
character. Um,
Oh, not at all. You don't think Lee Pace rules at all?
I I think this is going to be more focused on Cassian Bilton. I don't think we're going to have a really big time jump during the middle of this season. I think we will at the end of the season between season 3 and season 4. But I think in this season we're going to have the majority of
A
the
continuation.
Empire in control being Cassian Bilton, because everything's like the dominoes are falling right now, man. I mean, you've got the Mule over in the Pleasure Planet. You've
Mhm.
got 10 days
Callaghan.
until he technically becomes, I guess he would become Day. Yeah, Callaghan. Um, so yeah, I would say we're gonna see Cassian Bilton's character be ruling as Day, so we're gonna have a younger Day. I'm sure then we're gonna have another kid again as like Dawn pop in, and Day will continue his progression into an aged Dusk. Lee Pace, that is.
Interesting. I see. I disagree. I don't think we'll see. So there's kind of a saying, or maybe more of a superstition in real life, which is don't count your chickens until they hatch.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're hitting us over the head a little bit too hard with the fact that my ascension is in 10 days and blah, 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 blah is in 10 days,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where if that was the case, would they have built up Lee Pace's character so much with that scene of showing who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think something dramatic happens, perhaps in the next episode, that prevents Don from ruling in some way, whether he dies or whatever. Maybe we know the show is kind of ruthless with that,
Mm-hmm.
or not kind of, is ruthless with killing main characters.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. We haven't really dived into the Mule too much. They did a recasting, and my eyes did not deceive me.
Yeah, you called that out.
I
Yeah, that was sharp. I've been seeing the new face for so long that I'm just like, nah, dude, that was the same
stuck with
guy.
you. Yeah, yeah. Well, it is. What's his name? Pilau
Pilau
Asbake.
Icepike. Yep.
Probably butchering that, but he played Euron Greyjoy. All roads lead back to Game of Thrones. He played Euron Greyjoy, the psychopath, in Game of Thrones
Mhm.
of the Iron Islands,
Oh,
and
yeah.
similar to the Iron Islands, he has powers that cannot be explained. He doesn't have a fleet that magically appeared in about an episode, but he does have these mentalic powers that are far superior to anything we've seen in this show so far.
Yeah.
He can literally walk onto a planet, and which is essentially Calgon is like the Switzerland of this galaxy, and not bring an army, and seemingly just have everybody kill themselves,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of crazy. How do you stop something like that? Do the Cleons, because they're not humans, have maybe a missing part of their brain that allows them to not be interrupted or interfered with like that? Who knows? I have no idea.
Mm.
But as of right now, he seems a little bit invincible, a little bit overpowered,
Yeah.
and I'm waiting to find out what the hell is going to be his weakness.
Maybe his weakness is going to be Demerzel, a robot without a brain.
That would be, Demerzel is literally a killing machine, so that
Mhm.
would be quite convenient to
Yeah,
send over there.
for sure. I think the brothers though, Dawn, Dusk, Day, just because they're clones, that doesn't mean they don't have a brain. They just don't have a belly button.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Hold on. Did Lee Pace not have a belly button?
No, he didn't. Did you
Shirtless.
not notice the entire
I didn't
time?
notice
That
it.
was like the first thing I picked up. I'm like, bro, where's his belly button at? But now he
I did
doesn't have
notice
it.
that he put on a little bit of weight, which is kind of in character with this kind of laid back, which
Yeah.
is saying something because Lee Pace is literally ripped.
Oh yeah, he's fit.
Like
Yeah.
the dude is literally the definition of fit. But this is definitely he's heavier than the last day for sure, which is funny. I was also laughing because he was just straight up making sort of like a Neapolitan pizza, not like he cut a tomato and then spread the tomato on a bread. I was like, what is he doing? Is he just like kind of bringing lost relics of old humanity back? So he's got a camel, he's got a ferret, and then he's like, I want to eat, and he's gonna make a pizza. You know, he's just kind of finding these old recipes.
Seems like it.
Yeah. We get introduced to another character named Han Pritchard, who I found out is essentially the inspiration for Han Solo, which George Lucas, I mean, you could have deviated just a little bit. You literally named Han Solo. You literally stole the first name from Han Pritchard, which is another sort of Hober Mallow character, but albeit more noble in some sense.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see what happens there. He does seem to have a love interest who I don't believe I caught her name.
I didn't either.
Saphone, I
Is
think
that
is her
it?
name.
Saphone?
And she has an unpronounceable name for an American like me.
Oh yeah, I can't read that at all. Yeah. Sorry.
Yun Osp Hillen's daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be butchering that, but yeah, I think that's her Saphone.
She's pretty. If you could rock a pixie cut, then you're just about pretty and everything.
All right.
So, shout out Hermione Granger,
All right.
Emma Watson. Hey, they showed a
Harry
little
Potter?
screenshot of the new Harry Potter,
Yeah, I saw it.
but it's not going to come out in 26. It's going to come out in 27.
I'm surprised it's coming out that early, to be honest, with these crazy dates we've been seeing for some of these following seasons.
Nah,
like
just three body problem. Just
No, it was
Three-Body
Three Body Problem. What was the other show that we just covered? It was like The Last of Us is like another 2028.
That is
If
some
they
interesting
even do
things
it.
happening with
I mean,
The Last of Us.
yeah, I've heard what's his name stepped away from.
Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, Neil
Yep.
Druckmann stepped away from the show. One of the main writers stepped away from that show. So we'll see.
Yeah, that was interesting. I wonder why. Sometimes I just wish I could be in those rooms and understand why they make certain changes.
Yeah.
Because Last of Us Season 2 was good.
Yeah,
Very good.
it was good, but I haven't seen as much like not controversy, but just like such a split of like there are some people that love it and then there's like a massive like following of people that just hated season 2.
Well, listen, I got to be honest with you, and I've defended her for a bit. Don't like the casting of, what's her name? Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, I don't like it either. But anyways,
I'm allowed to have an opinion. It's not that I don't like her, just not a good casting for that role.
I think the whole point
Yeah.
of the show that we're doing is so that, because we have opinions, right? So that's
Yeah, we're not devoid of opinion.
yeah.
Bad casting.
Yep.
Wouldn't have done it. By the way, speaking of castings, we can't escape this guy who's playing Ebbing Miss. What's his name? Miss Ebbing?
Dr. Ebling Miss, Alexander
Ebling Miss.
Siddig.
We can't escape him.
No.
He's in just about every damn show we cover. Alexander Siddig.
Peaky
He is in
Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. He was in the movie Kingdom of Heaven, which I just watched. I like everything I watch. This guy's in.
Well, he also plays Doran Martell in Game of Thrones.
He is in Game of Thrones. You're right.
Yeah,
Talk about a freaking portfolio. Good Lord.
I know. Every time I see this, the sad thing though about him for me is that every time I see him in something, I'm like, oh, him. I know him from something. And then my mind just draws an effing blank. I've got to look it up every time. So I don't know if that's a good
Funny-
thing or a bad thing, but I do enjoy his characters in everything that I've watched.
Yeah, funny enough, they didn't recast him. So when he says I look just like my ancestor, he is literally the same actor who prosecutes
Yeah.
Harry Sheldon in season 1, who's his ancestor.
He
Who
is.
I'm not going to look up his name, but he's the same guy.
It is.
And secondly, remember our theory. If you watch our For All Mankind coverage, that all shows connect to For All Mankind on Apple TV. and that for all mankind will never end. It'll just extend eventually towards the Foundation and their own version of Star Trek.
What kind of
He was in Star. He
crazy
was in Star
origin
Trek.
series would that be, though?
It would be crazy, bro. Like just make everything connected to for all mankind.
Hmm.
That's what should be at the end of at like the last episode of Foundation. It should be like Brother Day finding an old picture of freaking what's the name of the main guy
Oh
in
God.
For All Mankind in season 1.
Uh,
What's his name?
it's been too long, man. I don't know.
Look up
For
his
all
name.
mankind. Are we
How do
talking
we?
about Ed Baldwin?
Ed
Joel
Baldwin.
Kinnaman?
Like he just finds like an old photo of. They say he was one of the first to land on the moon. It's just him. Like that would be insane.
It would be
That would be
hilarious if they
true.
did that. Even if it wasn't like a real tie-in, but just like a throwaway thing. It's just like it's like an inside joke, you know. If you know, you know.
Commander Baldwin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that would be a story archives. Like, put that in the Hall of Fame. If we actually get that right, it'd
Mm-hmm.
be insane. Man, it's kind of unbearable doing an episode and you got to sneeze and blow your nose all the time. I sound horrible. This has got to be a horrible audio experience for everybody.
Well, luckily they won't have to wait long for episode 2. So
Oh my gosh.
you just gotta
Don't do
stay
this
out of the
side by
kitchen.
side. You're just going to see boogers flying everywhere. It's crazy. So we covered the Mule. He's taken over Calgon
Mm-hmm.
in a quite aggressive way. Han Pritchard has gotten a sort of intel, but not with enough evidence that the Empire is arming the traitors
Mhm.
against the Foundation. We are introduced to Ambassador Quent, who is part of the Foundation, the ambassador of it, and she's also in The Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah, she is. She's like in Alexandria, I believe. She's in charge of Alexandria.
All right.
She's unbearable.
Okay.
Han Pritchard has a weird feeling about the Mule, so he steals the mayor's ship. And I believe Han Pritchard's probably related to Salvor Hardin somehow. I don't know how, but or maybe Hobart Mallow somehow. Just, I don't know. He's too much like Salvor Hardin, and he seems to have a sort of mentalic ability to know that something is up with the Mule when everybody else is disregarding him.
Yeah, he does kind of have that Salvo like vibe to him. So I could see that.
A little bit more charm, though. Salvor didn't have any sense of humor or charm.
Yeah, that's true. Her character was rather dry.
Yeah. We got a bit of Demerzel with this sort of conundrum, which is not really a conundrum. It feels like Harry Seldon gave her the Prime Radiant because he predicted that the Empire and Foundation at one point would have to work with each other to deal with the third. This is the third crisis, I believe. So
Yes.
I'm assuming that's the reason. And we find out that Harry Seldon and Gale are about to wake up, which Gale does wake up at the very end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. After a nice long cryo sleep. So, we'll see. Well, I mean, I mentioned earlier in this episode, we're going to see Foundation number 2 in the next episode. So I'm very curious to see how everything is kind of like grown over the course of, gosh, what was it? I think I wrote like 152 years or so since the second crisis. So
I'm not sure. Did we ever get word of where the second Foundation is?
I think it just is on the planet where all of those Mentalics were. Like, I think they just
You think
decided.
it just
Yeah, I
stayed
think they
there?
just decided to build it there. I know, if I recall correctly, it was Harry's original plan to make the second Foundation on his home planet, which was uninviting and not easy to get to. But yeah, I think they just stayed there. I don't think they left. They kind of just started the Foundation with those people.
I wonder, what was the name of the planet Dr. Ebeling Miss was on? They mention it in the episode. I don't know if you have your Apple TV pulled up. I do
kinda
wonder
do.
how he's going to come into play because he takes away the null field of the
Well, he was on.
ship.
I don't remember the name of the planet, but it's the second. Foundation planet that they went to. So
Haven?
Hayden, maybe.
Haven.
Haven. Yeah,
I
that
don't think it
sounds
was
right.
Haven.
Haven kind of sounds
No,
right.
I think
Haven's
Haven
that
was the
hot
one with the
planet.
traders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, let's talk about that planet for a minute. Well, that thing is like it's locked in orbit with the sun or something like that. So it's
Well, that was the most like
insanely
one of the
hot.
things with Foundation is that you're watching and you're just like your eyes not can glaze over, but like you almost don't realize that everything you're watching is like just a marvel in art direction. Like all the city designs, everything is just incredibly beautiful. I will say though that Trantor in season one, nothing tops it. Um, Trantor in season one was incredible to look at,
Yeah.
and that cyberpunky city with the projected sky, I thought that was sick.
It was. I mean, even the like this cylinder that we have
Yeah,
where Dawn goes to meet with, I guess, like the council in this episode. I thought that was pretty cool. Like it
yeah, no, that
spins.
was insanely cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insanely cool.
It like has its own day
Yeah,
and night
agreed.
cycle and everything. Man, like I'll tell you, if if you're gonna be traveling in space, like that's the way to do it right there. Like that's got
100%.
some Wally vibes up in there with just like this massive floating establishment meant to serve your every need and things you're familiar with as a human, I guess. But when I saw that, I don't know why I had this random thought in my mind where I was like, we used to have pilots and pirates and sailors that would sail the ocean. At some point in the future, we're gonna have just pirates and sailors in the in space. We're just
100%
gonna
space pirates.
like we're gonna have just. I would imagine we would have communities, just like massive populations, just traveling off into random places across the universe, and they live on a ship. Like I feel like you could, and these things are so damn big, you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, speaking of going across the universe, we didn't see the spacers at all in this episode. And they did mention that part of why the Cleons are deteriorating a little bit faster, why Empire's going a little bit faster, is because everybody has to jump everywhere. And you don't have the spacers.
Mm-hmm.
So I did find that quite interesting. Another interesting thing, the Mule has those blue eyes, the same blue eyes that Salvor Hardin's boyfriend had.
Hugo, was it Hugo?
Hugo Thespin. So he might be part Thespin.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost certainly is.
I mean, he looks kind of like it. I don't
You know,
know.
I'm
anybody
gonna
else
say
with
this.
eyes like that.
I like the new casting. Feels a little typecast. Feels a little bit too Euron.
Really, you think so? Because man, when I look at a
Yeah.
photo of Euron, I'm just I had to do a double take. I'm like, there's no way that's the same guy.
Euron was literally just like this character. He was witty, he was psychotic, and he was powerful.
Okay, with
So,
those
it just
attributes,
feels a little typecast.
with those attributes, yeah, I was thinking more of just like physical appearance. Like I didn't. It took me a minute to realize that was actually the same guy. Like I just didn't think it was.
No, for me, it just feels a little typecast. That's it,
fair.
really. But same with Dr. Ebling Miss. Like he's played this character, and his demeanor is very similar to a lot of the different characters. Even when he's painting Aunt Polly in Peaky Blinders, this is very much like this. And I think with a show like this, in a make believe, era above the year 12,000, because we know season one is like the year 12,067 or something like that. That you got to be transported completely out of the era, so to speak.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah,
Also, I think the new planet that they're on, Foundation, is literally called New Terminus.
New Terminus. Okay,
Yeah.
original.
Yeah, very, very.
I keep on wondering how the hell why the first Foundation is just a bunch of dumbasses. Like they just always put in power some random guy.
I mean,
Like the mayor who's in charge of the Foundation, who Han Pritchard goes and breaks into his office. They just always like put bad leaders. It's hilarious. That's why the Foundation, the actual Foundation, the first one, To me, it's just a giant decoy. It really doesn't serve any other purpose than whatever Harry needs it. He needs it to do to get the second foundation in a better place.
I mean, it literally is. It was a decoy. Like its whole
Mhm.
existence was just like the focus is on them, and that's fine. But we're building this secret army over here in Foundation too.
I
That's
wonder what
what I
how, I
understood.
wonder what Harry's like main like goal is with all the metallics then, because Han Pritchard is very quickly able to sort of decipher that the mule has some sort of that he's a mutant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if nobody knows about the second foundation, because that is supposed to be a secret, from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
um, how does Han Pritchard know that?
Well, I
So
mean, they're not the
I'm interested
first
to know.
mentalics though, right? Like I feel like that's just like a known thing. Like there are people that have these kinds of powers. So I think it's reasonable for him to be like, oh, he's a mutant without knowing that there's a secret hidden planet with a bunch of these kinds of people on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true. Anything else we didn't cover here that we should talk about?
Nothing is coming to mind right now. No. Did you want to get into any categories and see if anything else crops up?
Good.
All right. You got any favorite lines from this episode?
Oh God.
I know
I
it's
did
gotta
like
start with a
when
hard
he
one.
when Day finished the poem where he says I didn't write it down. Um, I didn't write it down, so it would ruin it.
It's
Let me
okay.
see if I
It's
can find
okay.
it.
It's just it's his poem at the end there. You mean when
Yeah.
he's leaving
When he leaves
his
song and he
mistress?
says,
Yeah.
when the man makes demands, we must make new plans or something like that.
Yeah, it was good. It was a smooth line. After
Yeah.
I think he butchered one earlier in the show, so it's nice to
Yeah.
hear a
He was
good
trying
one.
to remember it
Yeah.
or come up with the ending to it.
Yeah. Mine was I don't know. I liked that if you live long enough, time can become a weapon. From Gail, her little monologue at the beginning of this.
Oh, thank you for bringing up Gail's little monologues.
Yeah.
We always found those to be cheesy in season 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But in season 3, when like 500 years have passed, and you're even the avid Foundation viewers like scratching their head, like, who's that? What happened? Huh? What
Mm-hmm.
planet? Who? New terminus? Blah. Callaghan? What's that? Um, for the first time, the monologues didn't feel cheesy because it was actually relevant information. But now that she's gonna be awake, I don't want any more. I don't want. Don't give me any more narratives.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get away from it though. Like
Monologues.
I think we're still gonna have the narratives. I feel like
I mean narration.
it's just like a part of the show at this point. Like
I know, but damn it, does it have to be? She's awake. I don't like this omniscient character who's in the story giving me some stuff like Gail's narrations are always like
yeah.
Harry Seldon predicted the second and first crisis,
Yeah.
but one couldn't know that when one has a crisis, one must also have an aversion to the crisis. And it's like always some like thing. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. No, I'm
Also,
with
is
you.
she good enough? Is the actress who plays Gale? She's the main character. She's literally to carry the show. Has she shown us enough to say that we can say she can carry the show?
I don't think it's fair to say that she's carrying the show. I mean, not when we have Lee Pace. I mean, you've got, well, I guess Day. You've got Harry Seldon going. Like there's a lot of other like strong characters that I feel like many people could get behind.
There's no one more charismatic than Lee Pace on the entire show. Okay. Demerzel, played by Laura Dern. What is her name? Laura Byrne. Laura Byrne.
Yeah.
She's excellent in her role. The Cleons to me steal the show, steal the scene of everything that they're in this series.
Mhm.
With Dawn usually having been the weakest in the series. But Gail Dornick might be one of the most forgettable main protagonists that is supposed to be super important, right? Like they're gearing us up towards a Mule Gail Dornick showdown, right?
Hmm.
And as of right now, not a lot of super memorable moments with Gail.
No, there's not. And I feel like I almost feel like Gale, similar to the first Foundation, is like a diversion. It's a distraction from something that's truly important, I guess. I don't know what that is. But yeah, like there hasn't been a lot of her that's just been like, wow, this is my hero. She's gonna carry us through, this war
No.
coming up. I feel like she's just more of like I feel like she's one of Harry's pawns, if I'm being completely honest. Like I still feel like we understand such a small amount of what Harry's real plan is here that we'll still spend most of this season trying to like, oh, right, so there's a Foundation 3 or something stupid like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, till this day, I think my favorite scenes with Gale is when she was on her little water planet. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that was
next
entertaining.
category.
How about favorite character of the episode?
Brother Day has to be.
It's hard to top him, man. I'm not gonna. I mean, okay,
Han
all right.
Pritchard, Han Pritchard would be like set runner up.
If I were to pick somebody else, I would pick the Mule. I think his entrance into this was pretty epic.
Yeah, no doubt. That
yeah.
was an epic scene for sure.
There just wasn't like a ton
Han
of him. Like, that was
Pritchard. It was honestly a good episode for new characters, because technically this day is a new character. So
yeah. How about favorite scene of the episode? It's tough. I mean, like,
probably
there's
the
a lot of
mule.
good
Probably the
standouts.
mule's dismantling of and that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was good.
And then Day's entrance I thought was great.
Yeah, I thought the scene with Day was one of my top favorites. I also honestly I liked the speeder chase. I thought that was fun to watch, like in the shadow.
I did as well.
The moonlight.
Interesting enough, that is one of Hober Mallow's descendants, Randu Mallow,
Yeah,
who's a turncoat apparently.
supposedly.
I also
yeah.
like this. Yeah, I also like the scene of Demerzel with the Zephyr or whatever her name is.
Yes.
What is it? Zephyr
Rebecca.
Varela.
Yeah, Rebecca Innocent is the actress there. I thought that was an interesting thing, just her like trying to unpack everything that's going on. Like I feel like there's just so much that's up in the air of like, people could flip sides or turn out to really be the good guy.
Can she truly only be the only robot left?
I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I've not seen anything to make me believe otherwise. It seems kind of like something I would
Convenient.
expect to have an emperor basically have like a toy, like a pet, tortured and imprisoned for his own entertainment. And I would imagine, that would probably be the last one.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like she could also just like make more robots. Like, why does that not happen? Is that something only people can do? I doubt it. She's got to be able to make her own.
Agreed.
All right. Any other things that come to mind before we round this thing out and get ready for
No.
episode 2?
No, I think that just about does it for episode 1.
All right. Well, you wanna plug us?
I mean, hope you guys are as excited for Foundation Season 3 as we are, really. And I honestly can't wait. Like, it's for first time in a while, I think that I'm very much looking forward to a series to sink my teeth into. And this one is definitely enough information to sink your teeth into. So,
Oh yeah. I'll probably rewatch this one again before episode 2 comes out, to be honest. So, anyways,
make sure to subscribe, people. Help us hit 1,000. We're at 877 right now. Only 123.
I think we can hit that by the end of this season, don't you? Like I feel like with everybody's help, if everybody tells a half a person, we will surpass our 1,000.
I would certainly love to be surprised.
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of Foundation by Story Archives. It's been a minute since I've said that. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify podcasts. And if you'd like, you can visit a website at soapbox.house and you'll find links out to the show and everything else we have on the network.
Sounds good. We will see you guys on episode 2 of Foundation. Until then, peace.
Peace.